everybody, welcome back to Go That Just That Girl, the Fly Girl TV. And if you are new here, hello and how are you? I am making a video today regarding CarMax, my process and how that was for me. I've gotten a few people asking about that, and if that's what you're interested in, go ahead and stay tuned to this entire video and I'll see you on the other side.
Who's that girl? It's Tiana, it's Tiana. Who's that girl? Better watch what you do.
Alright everybody, so I'm going to walk you through my CarMax experience and just my overall process on how I purchased my car when I did purchase my car. Well, I will say to you, it was actually extremely easy. They have obviously their website, and then they also have a CarMax app that you can look at that I will definitely show how that works and navigate in this video. But the one thing I want to say is that it makes your experience easier if you know what kind of car you want. For me, I live in New York, as you all are aware, and we have all 4 seasons. So I kept that in mind. I said, what type of car is going to get me through all 4 seasons? And obviously, it is a 4x4 truck. If it snows, I'll be good. If it's the hot season, I'll be good. All that comes into play. And the good thing about that is CarMax can help you navigate through that. So once you've done that, then you want to come back and you want to say, can I afford the exact type of car that I want? What does that mean? Well, does my credit allow me to get this, or do I have the cash up front to buy it? So the good thing about the CarMax process is that the first thing they do is give you a simulator. What the simulator does is give you a ballpark of where you would be with your type of credit score. I remember I was walking through this process with one of my friends, and he was like, I want a Benz, whatever, like it's lit, I'm about to give me a Beamer. And I was like, okay, well cool, then let me see your credit score, like, where we at with that? And it said, bro, you getting a Honda. So before you get all excited, you need to understand what kind of score you have. But again, if you have cash money up front, baby, you get what you want. You just throw it on there. There is really no looking. So I did that. I saw where I was in the range that I wanted, and they gave me a ballpark mark, which like, okay, with your type of credit, you can afford $20,000, $15,000, $35,000, and so on and so forth. So once you know your credit score and you know at which range you can purchase a certain car, you then, and that's what I did, went to an actual CarMax facility and I looked at the type of cars that they had available for me. You can do this online as well, but I actually wanted to test drive them. I went with my sister and I was looking at the Jeep Renegades because I thought that that's what the style that I wanted. And that's another thing, bring somebody with you so they can give you some insight. And I was like, yeah, this is the car, it feels great, blah, blah, blah. My sister was like, girl, that does not look like you. Girl, and I said, oh, really? And I said, well, what does? And she pointed to another Jeep. And I said, well, can I afford that? And they went over and they were like, yeah, you totally can. It's in your price range. And I'm like, what? So remember, the first thing you see does not mean that that's what you will get. Expand your horizon. Look, make sure it is the one you want. Test drive it. Get the feels of it. Because you're going to be paying for this car and it will be yours forever until you decide to sell. So I ended up looking at a Jeep Cherokee. That was more my vibe or whatever, and I test drove it and it was actually great. Once you've established the type of car you want, and then you've established the ballpark range and where you're going to be financing this car, because again, I did financing, I did not lease. I am not a fan of leasing. That if that's your prerogative, that's you. We can go into another video as to why I would want to finance versus leasing, so on and so forth. So after I found out what kind of car I want and then my amount in which I can purchase, I then got onto the actual CarMax app and I got to do some navigation. I like white cars. I mean, down to the nitty gritty. I like heated seats. I like heated wheels. I wanted 4 cylinders because, again, I wasn't a fan of gas guzzling. It literally works through every single environment. It's just like going on a shopping spree. You heart the ones you like, and then once you heart the ones you like, you literally can compare and contrast the ones. It's so beautiful. Now, here's the thing. Just because you live in a certain city does not mean that you cannot get a certain car. So you want to open up your mileage to everywhere. My car was in, I believe, Florida or Virginia or whatever, and I had them ship it over to Atlanta. I frequent Atlanta a lot. It wasn't unideal for me to get my car that way. However, if you live in New York City and your car is in California, if that's what you want to do, I believe you can have it shipped. Now there is a fee for that, about $100 to $400. It ranges depending on how far it is. But if that's your ultimate car, you have the ability with CarMax to do that. I went back to the finance year, right? We sat down and they asked me, am I gonna pay it cash out or I'm gonna finance it, lease it? I said finance it. So they said, okay, do you have a bank you're gonna deal with, or we can, CarMax has a few banks that we are good at, we're connected to, that we can just run your credit and it will be a hard check. So keep that in mind as well. And I had about 7 banks offer me a price. Now here is where, if I was more savvy in that time frame, mindset wise, where it's very crucial. Now, and it depends on your life. The banks offer different interest rates, and they offer different monthly payments, and they offer different terms, right? I went with the cheapest monthly payment. I didn't care about the term. I didn't care about the interest rate because I wasn't there yet. All I know is what I could afford. If I knew better, I would have went with a price that I can afford, a shorter term, and a lower interest rate. But again, that is for another video, and I will definitely get into that if you want me to. However, at this point in time, I just said, this is the one. They want me, I work with that, I can afford that. Once I went with a certain bank, and the good thing about it is you can always refinance. Always, or go to a bank that works with you. I did not put any money down. That is an option. You don't have to put money down when you get a car. You literally walk out that same day. What money down means is that you're just putting a little bit onto the car and going to worry about it later. Like I said, I was ready to get my car. I was sick of the trains and the buses. I had to lug my luggage for work. I just wanted my car now, whatever. So that's the mindset I was in. It is what it is. If you want to put money down, that's on you. Then do your thing. After you've done your financing, you then can go back online and actually juxtapose and compare and contrast the type of car you want exactly, now that you know where you are with that, like we talked about earlier. And then you send it to the actual place you're dealing with. Again, this is how I did mine. You don't have to do that. You probably don't even have to talk to anybody now. I got mine back in 2019. Yeah. This is the cool part about it. So you send your car over, right? They get it. They do an exhaust check, an engine check. They clean the car, making sure everything is in tip-top shape before it walks off the lot. I love that. That to me is what makes me go with, anytime I want to purchase a car or whatever, go through CarMax. Now CarMax cars are newly used. These are not brand new cars, in case you were wondering. However, they treat it like it's a brand new car because it's a brand new car for you. So you accept that luxury. The way that they are, the customer service is phenomenal. I went in, it took about a month for it to get shipped over. It then took about another month for them to make sure everything was good and clean. I'm okay with that. That's fine for me. So once I went back to the facility and they said everything was good to go, I saw my baby. I looked at her. We did another test drive again. We felt good. The engine looked good. There was nothing out of place that I felt uncomfortable with, you know. And we went back in to finalize the process. Now, once the finalization of the process is happening, the seller of the cars, or the salesman, they step out of the way, and then you work with the actual business side of CarMax. And when I tell you, they go through each and every piece of paper. I was kind of overwhelmed, I'm not gonna lie to you. And they say, this is what this means, and this is your title, and this is your lien holder, and this is what you need to do, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, wow. I was with my mom at the time, and she will help me walk through certain things. But they were very, very good at, this is what you're getting yourself into. Now, and any question you had, they were more than willing to answer it. I will say, keep in mind, if you finance a car through CarMax, meaning that a bank is going to give you the money up front and you got to pay the bank back, you have to have full coverage insurance. make sure your insurance is on point, and you cannot walk out of the dealership, should you be financing, without insurance. That's just a negative. It has to be active, and then you can get your car. Please keep that in mind, okay? So then after that, I signed on the dotted line, and then they give you this big bow, and they're like, "Yay, you got your car. You want to take a picture of it?" And then here he's a he. My car name is Timothy, but Timothy came, and I was like, "Oh my God, baby, I love you." Now again, I have owned this car at this moment. I do not own him at all, because the bank is on my neck for it. So please go ahead and look at another video that I have right here that gives you on how to pay down your car in 5 months, because that's what I did once I realized the money mindset. But anyway, so I got my car, but then I drove it up to New York, and I did all of my paperwork regarding tags and things like that. They give you about a good month and a half to do all of that if you did not actually purchase the car in the same state in which you live. That is pretty much in a nutshell my CarMax experience. But again, it's their savviness on the app. I mean, that was, to compare and contrast, to literally have two different cars sitting there and say, this one got more mileage, this one doesn't have more mileage. This one has heated seats, this one does not. This one has the peanut butter leather, this one does not. This one was ridden by somebody, and this one did not. Like, they go through all the Carfax, everything, and you feel really, really, really good when you make your purchase. So if you are looking for getting a car, I say go through the CarMax Experience. They also have a warranty, guys, which you may or may not need, but the warranty is either for 5 years or for the first 100,000 miles. So if your car gets up to 100,000 miles, or 5 years, whichever one, and it covers anything like brake pads and this and the third. But you could take it back to the CarMax facility because they have maintenance crews to do that for it, or you can take it to a secondary car repair shop and pay a certain amount for that. So that's pretty good, much of a good perk. Another good thing I thoroughly liked about the CarMax Experience is that it literally is what it is. This is your car, and that's it. It's no sneaky salesman trying to gouge you or whatever. Now, they're not going to say, hey, you want a lower price for this car, unless you ask. That's negotiation. But you don't have to leave the facility knowing, like, is this car going to start when I get on the road? You know that stigma when it comes to dealerships? There was none of that. Every time I went, there was no, hey, you want to get a car? Like, it was just simple. Like, this is what you get, and this is what you get. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. And my car still works today. So, like, you know, it's really a stress reliever. Yeah. Well, everybody, that is all in regards to my CarMax Experience. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. And if you think somebody else would want to benefit from hearing my experience, go ahead and share it to everybody. Thank you again, and stay tuned for another exciting video. I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.